Hello and welcome everyone. Happy Friday, and most of all, happy Veterans Day to my fellow veterans out there. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to customize Adobe Lightroom Classic. There are several ways to customize it. Even as I was just looking through it just a few minutes ago, I'm like, oh man, I forgot about that customization. I forgot about this, forgot about that. So it's just, I could easily spend 2 hours doing this, but we don't have 2 hours, so we're going to make the best of the 1 hour we have. So, for those of you who are new, welcome to Masterclass Friday here at Adobe Live. This is the chance for all the Adobe Evangelists in the community team, because there's more Adobe Evangelists and other teams, but in the community team to stream their various disciplines on a Friday. So, we do graphic design, photography, Photoshop, digital painting and drawing, UI, UX design, and of course video and audio. So the various evangelists will be here throughout the day, and also sprinkled in the middle, like right after me, for example, we have daily creative challenges. So there will be a daily creative challenge after this that you can watch or participate in. So with that said, welcome. Thanks, Sam Peterson, for moderating today. And as I always say, if you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn, thanks for joining me on my various channels out there. But more importantly, if you want to participate in the main chat, head over to b.net/Adobe Live. That's where the main chat will be. I see people over on YouTube like Osman and Erich, and somebody just popped in, Woodbury Photography. Thanks for being here. And I'll look over there from time to time to catch comments. But the main one I'm going to be looking at is the one at b.net/Adobe Live. So even if you're not a Creative Cloud customer, you can pop over there. All you have to do is sign in with a free Adobe ID or even your social media accounts to log in, and you can participate in the main chat. But either way, wherever you're comfortable watching, just continue watching. And if you're watching this on the replay, thanks for watching the replay, and let us know how it's going in the future. Anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and dive right into today's topic. We're going to customize the mess out of, like, there's so many ways the team made it so you can customize Lightroom Classic to your liking. So we're going to see as many of those as we can, as many of those as I can remember. This is unscripted. This is off the cuff. I've been using Lightroom for so long. I'm just going to go from top to bottom and just talk about all the various ways I've customized it, and even ways that I don't customize it, but you can do it. All right, so with that said, let's get that out of the way. Let's head over to the desktop. Once again, shout out to my fellow veterans. This was me in my first year in the Army and back in 1982, straight out of basic training, straight out of AIT. And I did 6 years, and it was a great experience. So if you're unsure what you want to do with your life, this is not a recruitment commercial, but it is something you might want to check out. That's all. All right, so enough of that. And just so happened, I did shoot a air show this past week, so I got a chance to get up close and personal with the Blue Angels, which is kind of fitting for today. One of my favorite shots of all is this one right here. This is just so awesome. This is so Top Gun. This is so just, and I'll tell a true story. I was just shooting, and I didn't even know I got this shot till I got home. Like, I didn't even know that this fist bump happened, because I was taking several shots of this moment where they were communicating with each other and getting ready to take off. And I got this one. I was like, oh my God, this needs to be a print. Like, I got to print this out and make a metal print or something of this. Anyway, back to customization. All right, so one of the most obvious ways, and we're going to do some shortcuts as well, some things to just make the interface more friendly towards you. But one of the first ways that people customize Lightroom that's the most visible is your identity plate. So we're up there at the top left where it says Terry White Photography. That's my identity plate I've been using for years and years and years. And it's just, the Lightroom team intended Lightroom to look like your own custom photography application. So if a client was standing there with you, it was basically not gonna, like if you went, especially if you go into full screen, it was not going to show anything that had anything to do with Adobe. It was all about you and your photography. So it basically looked like your studio. So you can put your studio name up there, your logo, whatever you want. And I'm going to show you 2 ways to do that. Speaking of I'm just getting out of the screen because I forgot to launch something. So let me launch this real quick. Speaking of customizations in terms of the identity plate, the identity plate can be customized one of 2 ways. Customized, that is. You can make it just text. So if you don't have a graphic or a logo or anything and you just want text, you can certainly do it that way. And the other way to do it is with a graphic. So we're going to talk about the format for the graphic, how to make it, how to add it once you do it, so forth and so on. So let's pop back over and take a look at that. Now I got everything launched the way I want. And that identity plate, to get to it, you go under the Lightroom menu, depending on your platform. Windows, I think it's probably under the preferences. I can't remember. But anyway, identity plate setup, you'll find that one way or the other. And that will take you into this area. So you can choose your identity plate, either just your Adobe ID. So we'll just say whatever the name of your Adobe ID is. It will just say Lightroom Classic by default if you don't change it to anything custom. So if you don't care, it'll just stay on Lightroom Classic. Or you go to personalized. Once you go to personalized, I have multiple ones here. You can choose between all the ones you've ever done. And you can either use a stylized identity plate, which is just text. So let me see if I got one here. I think I got one here that's still text. Yeah, that's not the right font, but that is, oh yeah, here we go. I was gonna say that's not the right font, but we can go ahead and customize it with whatever text and whatever font you want. So I used to use, before I made my own custom one, let's see, do I still have it here? Oh man, I don't even have this font loaded. I used to use Trojan Pro for this particular text, and it made it look like the text that you saw in my identity plate above as a graphic. That was the text. So it's kind of gives it that that title, that God, I'm just drawing all kinds of blanks today. That look where the text has capital letters all throughout. So lowercase letters are capital. It's not title case. It's I'm drawing a blank for the technical term for it. But anyway, Trojan Pro makes it look like that. So that was my big lead into that. Anyway, over here on the right-hand side, you also notice that my module text is nice and big and bold. That's not the default. It's just I make it that way for the live stream so you guys can see it easier, but you can go in and change that text to whatever you want it to be as well. So you can even kind of match the font that you're using for your identity plate, or have something contrasting, like I do in this case, big, bold, type, Proxima Nova bold, 30-point red. So the red is the current one you're in. You want the current one you're in to be blue, green, whatever. Just pick the color, and that's the current module you'll be in, will be in that color. So just this whole identity plate thing is pretty cool. So if we use a graphical identity plate, like that one, how do you make it, and where do you put it, and how do you load it in? So let's pop over to Photoshop. And in Photoshop, I've got the identity plate here, and I never ever remember the size of the image because I only do this once, explain this like once every couple of years, and I don't ever make a new one, so I don't keep it memorized. But we go into image size, we can find out pretty quickly. And it's going to be very small. It's going to be much smaller than you would think because it doesn't need to be any bigger. So the identity plate size is 41 pixels high and up to 400 pixels wide. Now, you don't have to take up the whole 400 pixels wide, but that's how much space you have to work with. And again, it's 72 pixels per inch. Windows might be slightly different, but it's about the same. Like this would work on Windows as well. Windows might give you a couple extra pixels, but that's about it. So really super small image by today's standards of high resolution graphics. And you notice that I created this on and see, it's even telling me I'm missing the font. I created this on a empty layer because if you don't want it to have a white background, you want it to be transparent. So when it's on top of Lightroom, whether Lightroom's black or whatever color your interface is, you always want the logo to be able to, or your identity plate to be able to see through it to whatever background color Lightroom is. So in this case, empty layer, and then I added the logo, and I added the text, which is missing the font, And once you're done designing it, creating it, whatever you can. No, I'm going to tell you this way to do it. I was going to tell you something that might work, but I'm going to tell you something that definitely works. You want to export it as a PNG, a PNG file. So just go to Export As, pull the window over if it's on the other display. Don't do JPEG, because JPEG will force it to have a white background even if you made it transparent. If you want it to stay transparent, it has to be a PNG. So just make it a PNG with transparency. Save it anywhere you want, not the desktop. Save it in a folder somewhere on your hard drive. Like I put it in my photography folder for all my other documents on my hard drive. And that way I'll always know where it is and I'll always be able to get to it. So once you save it out to that special place you're going to keep it, again, it doesn't, Lightroom doesn't care where it is, but you want to put it somewhere where you'll always be able to update it and get back to it and so forth and so on. So I exported out to that folder, my photography folder. Then we head over to Lightroom Classic. And in Lightroom Classic, we're going to go in and just simply locate file. So when I choose locate file, that'll come up with my operating system to go find the folder that I put that in. And I put it in this folder right here. So the last time I updated this thing, oh, there's a newer one. Last time I updated this thing was like back in 2018. So it's been a while. I could make a new one, but there's the PSD, there's the PNG file. I can always update the PSD, choose it, and then it will show up here. And of course, you'll use graphical identity plate. So the identity plate is also useful in other modules. It can be used in the slideshow module. It can be used in the print module, and it can be used, I think it can be used in the web module too, which I never use anymore. But anyway, it can be used in other modules. So you kind of want to make one that looks cool, because maybe you want to put it on the bottom of your slideshows. Maybe you want to put it on the bottom of your gallery prints. You maybe want to use it in other places. So that's why it's nice to have. All right, so now that we've customized the top of Lightroom to look the way we want, let's keep going over here to the right. And again, let's talk about these modules. Now, I gave you a hint. I said I don't use the web module anymore. Like, I can't remember the last time I was in the web module. So it's even telling me flash-based templates don't work anymore. Yeah, because that's how long it's been since this thing was a thing. Some people might still use it day in and day out. Even when I was using it, I wasn't using the built-in templates. I was using these from the Turning Gate. I'm not affiliated with the Turning Gate. I'm not a sponsor, not sponsored. I'm not anything, but they make great plugins. So they made plugins that I used to use to build my website from Lightroom. So all the pages, they have a whole thing. It's even not even this anymore. They have a whole new platform to build it on from Lightroom. But I used to use their plugins to make my pages, my client response galleries, all that stuff. I used to use their plugins to do it. I don't do it anymore because I got Lightroom in the cloud now, and I also have Adobe Portfolio for my portfolio site. So it just kind of, I didn't stop using them because they didn't work anymore. I just stopped using them because I don't need them anymore. So if you have Windows, Safari, Flash still works, and I still recommend you don't use Flash. There's just too many bad things going on with Flash, and Adobe's not updating anymore. So you're only asking for trouble if you keep using Flash. All right, so so I don't use the web module anymore. Let's go back to library. Well, then why would I need it up there? If I don't ever use it, then it's just taking up space. It's just in the way. It's just a thing. So if you right click on this bar, you'll see all the modules are checked off. And if I uncheck web, it doesn't delete it from Lightroom Classic. It just removes it from my view. I don't ever accidentally click on it. I don't ever go to it. I don't ever use it. So there's no reason to ever have it there. So if there's like if you never ever do slideshows, you never are going to do a slideshow, never ever, then you can of course remove it. You can take it off the bar so that it just simplifies Lightroom. Yeah, Safari isn't updating anymore either. Yeah, just stay away from Flash. Anyway, you can update the bar to just have whatever modules you use. Some people don't use the map module. Some people don't use book. Some people don't use slideshow. So whichever ones you don't use, you can hide them. All right, so we're still in the library. Let's go into one of my favorite things to talk about in terms of customization. This is one that I hadn't done in a long time, And I was like looking over there and I was like, oh man, I even forgot you could do this. So when you have a collection or folder of images you're looking at the top of the window there, a little bit farther down, you have text search. You can search on attributes. Like I can say, show me all the 5-star images. So these are my favorites. Show me the 4-star images. Those are favorites too, but the 5 stars are my favorites. So you can show all, flags, stars, and color labels. Great. Metadata, which is the one I use a lot, and this metadata has 4 columns which you can go in and choose whatever you're looking for. So I usually use, I don't always use date, so maybe I'll change date to something more relevant. Maybe I'll change date to rating, because maybe I'm looking for rating, but also these attributes. And cameras, and here, let's turn off this. There we go. So there it shows everything. The cameras that were used to shoot this with, the lenses that were used to shoot these images with, and the file types. So let's say that I'm always using rating, camera, lens, and file type. And again, you could change these forward to whatever you want. Each one can be changed. Then I don't want to have to always go through changing them to what I want. Like there's a certain set of ones I might use for one thing, a certain set of columns I may use for another thing. And just this way, if I don't always have to go up and change them, then I can just quickly choose the one I want. So you're going to hear throughout the rest of the hour the word preset quite a bit, because there's presets all over Lightroom Classic that can help you customize it. And this is one of the presets I forgot about. So over here in the upper right hand corner, it says no filter. But you look below, there are presets. So for example, let's say if I go to default columns, these are the default columns if you hadn't made any changes yet. So the default columns are date, camera, lens, and label. I never use label in this way to search because I got label under attributes, so I don't ever use it here. Let's go back up to here. Let's say ones that have GPS coordinates. So these shots have GPS coordinates, camera, lens, and label. So they customize it so that one's there. Let's go up to one more time. Flagged. So I can show all the ones that are, let's see, did they, I don't even know. Yeah, okay, so it turns on both of these. It's attribute with a flag, and then these other default columns, which I didn't even know you can make a preset with multiple ones. I just learned something today. All right, so cool. Let's go back to the default columns. And let's go make one. Let's turn off attribute. Let's go make one the way we want. So let's say I want to use, I'm going to put them in the order I want. I want camera. I want lens. Yep. I want, I know what I want on the end, so I'm just trying to fill in this third one. This is something useful here. All right, we'll use rating just because it's there. We can. And then my last one, this is my favorite one, file type. Oh, you know what? No, I don't want rating. I know what I want. I want edit. I want to see the ones that were edited. And then I want file type. There we go. Okay. So now this way I can find all the stuff I'm usually looking for. Which camera did I shoot it with? Did I shoot it with phone or did I shoot it with my professional camera? Which lens did I use to shoot it with? Yeah, these were all kind of the same lens. So, but was the image edited or not in Lightroom? So did it have any develop module settings or not? And those were. Was it a RAW file? Or was it a phone file? Or was it a TIFF that's been edited in Photoshop and brought back in? Or was it just a DNG? So this way I get to see, and again, these raw shots were shot from the iPhone. So I get to see whatever I'm looking for. So now these are my favorite 4 columns that I want to be able to search for stuff on. And so I can go up here and make a new preset called favorite columns. So that way, no matter what I go up here and do, let's say I come up here and change it to aperture and ISO speed. I don't know why I would ever be searching for those, but I can, so I can see all the images that were shot at f6. I don't know why you would need to know that, but you can. Anyway, now I got that there, and I was like, oh no, I don't care about those columns anymore. So now I just go up here. I don't have to worry about changing them to what I like. I just go to favorite columns, and it puts all my favorites back. And apparently you can mix it with attribute and probably text as well. So this way you save presets to quickly filter images that you're looking for based on the criteria you're looking for. And usually for me, most of the time, I'm looking for specific file types. I want to see the videos. I want to see the raw files. I want to see the PSDs or TIFFs. I want to see maybe the phone shots. I want to see what if I shot with multiple cameras or lenses that day. I also want to see what cameras I shot with and maybe what lens I shot with. So I love that particular customization. And again, it's one that I've forgotten about. All right, next up, let's head over to, I'm just trying to think, is there any, oh yeah, down here at the bottom, you've got this toolbar at the bottom here that you can also customize quite a bit. So if you pop the arrow down on the far right-hand side, you can choose all the things you want to see on that toolbar. So for example, it defaults to painter, sorting, and thumbnail size. Thumbnail size is important. Sorting is important. Painter, I don't use that very much anymore, but I'll show you what it does. It's kind of cute. But I do want to see flagging. I do want to see, now these are just showing me, again, another way to filter. I want to see ratings, and I want to see color label, and I want to be able to rotate the photos. And if you want to jump into a quick slideshow, you could. If you want to navigate, which I never do, you can have navigation buttons where you can go to the next photo, go to the next photo, go back. I would just do that from the keyboard, so I would never have that on. But, and then I'll show you slideshow. It's just the play button, so you can play an impromptu slideshow no matter what collection you're in. So I never use those two, so let me go ahead and turn those off. I don't use navigate because I have the keyboard. I don't use slideshow because I just don't do impromptu slideshows. And the thumbnail size is very important. I do alter that from time to time. So it's great to be able to customize this customize this toolbar to whatever you want it to be. And of course, these are standards to stay here. Now, what's this sprayer do? The sprayer, when you click on it, you can paint these various items. So you can paint keywords. If you wanted the same keywords across several photos, but not all of them, you can spray those keywords on. You want to spray a label on. You want to spray a flag on. You want to spray a rating, metadata, settings, rotation. So rotation is the easiest one for you to see. So let me show you rotation. I'm going to rotate counterclockwise, which is CCW. And then as I have the spray can, I just spray across these images. I just spray across these images. Rotate. Why isn't my sprayer working? That's weird. Normally you just click and spray. Huh. The metadata, cancel. All right, let me try another one. I don't know why that's not, rotation is one I've done a million times to show you guys. I don't know why that one's not working. Let's do, pick a flag. So let's do unflag, see if that works. Yeah, my sprayer is not working for some reason. All right, normally you would just hold the mouse button down and go across those images and it would apply whatever you've told it to do. I'm not sure why my sprayer is not working, but it's not working. Okay, I'm going to give up because it's not that important. I was just showing you what it does. So if the sprayer doesn't work, there's no reason to have it on the bar. I don't know if that's a bug or just something. I'm in some mode that I'm not supposed to be in for that to work or not work. But anyway, that's what it's for. All right, next up. Moving on. Just want to make sure that there's no more. Oh, so speaking of other customizations while we're here, these categories can all be opened or closed. Like for example, I don't usually keep the navigator open. For whatever reason, I just find it a distraction up there. I do keep it open in the develop module because it's showing me previews of what the develop will, or the edit will look like, or filters or whatever. But in this case, I don't know. I don't usually leave this open. So you can twirl this and it's sticky. So if you keep it closed, it'll stay closed. If you keep it open, it'll stay open. Histogram, like for example, I never, ever, 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 ever use quick develop, so I keep that closed. The other customization I would definitely have you do here, and it's kind of more of a choice, not so much customization, is by default, I believe this is either on default. Yep, it's on default. So it doesn't really give you all the information it can give you about the photo. So I like to have it on EXIF data and IPTC data. So that's going to give me a ton of information about the photo and my metadata about that photo. So I just always have it set to that and never change it. All right. And I think that's it for library. Oh, no, it's not. Views. Let's go to views. So one of the things that I usually flip right away when I install a new copy of Lightroom on a new machine and I haven't customized it yet is I'm going to turn it off so you can see the difference. And I'm going to turn this off so you can see the difference. There we go. So that's the way Lightroom normally looks. You see a number in the upper left-hand corner of each thumbnail. And you kind of see, a smaller thumbnail, which of course you can make it bigger, but you kind of just see the thumbnail and maybe the information under it, like the number of stars and so forth and so on. But that's not enough for me. So I almost instantly go in the minute I see this view, come up to the view menu, come down to grid view style, because that's what we're showing now. And we're going to show, all right, so we're going to turn off extras. So this is the way it would normally look. We're going to go ahead and turn on a couple of things. We're going to turn on expanded cells. So look at how much more information I get on each one. I get I still get a number, which is just what number it is. Like this is the 10th photo in the grid. But I also get the file name, I get the resolution, I get the file type. All of that's being displayed. So just the number it is right now in the view, the file name, which I need to rename all these, resolution, and the file type. We scroll down, I still get the ability to rotate the image. What's going on? So I still, that's not even working. So something's going on. Anyway, you should be able to rotate those. Maybe that's why my spray can wasn't working either. You see information about the images themselves, like whether they've been edited. I forgot what this one is. It's been cropped, and this one it's in a collection. You get to see the star ratings and whether it's in the target collection, not quick collection, target collection. All right. So let me go back up to the view. I think there was one more thing there that we do. So show extras, show badges, expanded cells. That's what I normally have it on. Now that also means that you can have it different if you're in loop view. So let me find a shot here that I want to go in loop view on. Maybe this one. And notice that we just see the image. We don't see anything else. So if I go up to view and you'll come down to loop info, you can show info overlay. And when you show the info overlay, which I'm not seeing right now, it would normally have information in something really going on in my Lightroom, but you would normally see information in the upper left-hand corner, like the file type. I'm sorry, not file type, file name, and other info about that. Again, something is weird. So we should be able to see this, and you can cycle between these two. So one gives one set of information, the other one gives another set of information. You can cycle between them by hitting the letter I. And again, I'm just not seeing. I just want to go here and see what it is. So here they are. So you can even change them. So another customization, you can change what that loop overview would look like. So you can say, I want to see the file name and copy name. I want to see the capture date and time. I want to see the crop dimensions. Or in info number 2, file name and copy name, the exposure and ISO or lens setting. And again, you can change these to whatever you want to see under that information. So maybe I want to see the megapixels in that one if that's important to you. You want to see the lens setting or something else. Maybe I want to see the file extension. So again, you can change these to whatever you need them to be for info 1 and info 2. And you can, of course, show the one you want to see. So weird that I'm not seeing that now. And I might have turned on some mode that's just preventing me from seeing it, but you should see it. Okay, next up, yep, might need to reset Lightroom. I agree. Next step will be, I talked about going full screen and like getting rid of this bar so it doesn't show anything to do with Adobe or Lightroom, like we don't see the name of that. That's changed. So hitting the letter F just takes you into full screen for the image. Hitting the letter F again takes you out. But if you hold down the Shift key and hit the letter F, then it toggles through 3 different views. The first view just hides the title bar. Hit Shift F again, hides the menu bar, so you're in full screen mode with just Lightroom and nothing else. And Shift F again returns it back to the way you want. So it cycles between those 3. Hitting Shift F, Shift F, Shift F will always toggle you between those 3 modes. So if you were like, I don't care about the bar right now, but if I had someone walk over to the computer, I would certainly go into full screen mode because I don't want them looking at anything else, just the images, just what I'm trying to show them, without them necessarily having to see a bunch of stuff that's irrelevant. So they're not worried about the computer or Lightroom or any of that. Okay, next up, let's go in and take a look at, I just want to make sure I got rid of, or I'm sorry, got done with all the other things I want to show here. Oh no, I'm still not. So the panels themselves, and there's a new option in this newest version of Lightroom. So let's talk about the panels. So you'll notice top, left, right, and bottom. Bottom. There it is. There's an arrow pointing up, down, left, and right. And that arrow simply lets you turn off that panel. So in this case, I'm at the bottom. It's turning on and off the film strip. At the top, it's turning on and off all the module names and everything. Left and right panel. So this is the right panel hidden and the left panel hidden. And what's nice is if the panel's hidden, it's still available. So if you mouse over where the panel would be, the panel pops out, lets you do whatever you want to do, and then you pull away and it goes away. So this can give you a lot more screen real estate without you having to just work with less area or turn them permanently on or off. So another way to do this, I'm going to turn them all back on. Turn it on, keep it on. All right, so now they're on. Another quick way to do that, so you're not doing what I'm doing, like finding a little arrow, clicking on it, finding a little arrow, clicking on it, is hitting the tab key. So hitting the tab key on your keyboard will temporarily hide the left and right panels so that you can quickly get them out of your way, work. You need them back, hit the tab key again to bring them back. Speaking of these panels, they can be stretched. So if you need more room or less room in a panel, you can make them smaller or bigger. Now there is a trick. If you hold down your Option or Alt key, I don't know why the team did this, but if you hold down your Option or Alt key, you can get the super wide panels. So I'm just holding down my Option key on my Mac or my Alt key on Windows, and it will allow me to stretch the panel even further out. For whatever reason you would need to do that, Maybe you've got one of those super wide monitors and you just kind of want to show off by having super wide panels on your 30-inch gaming monitor that is nice and high definition and across. All right, anyway, got that out of the way. Next up. Yes, tab, temporary hiding. Yes, Julianne, agreed. Is this being recorded? Always, unless there's a technical glitch. All right, so let's keep going. I'm just trying to make sure I cover everything in this module before I head on over to the next module. I think that'll be it for now. If I think of something, I'll come back. Let's head over to develop, where I do lots of, oh, no, there was one more thing. The new feature I was going to talk about. So there's one more new feature. This just came out in October. So this is brand new, and I don't know why you would need to do this, but it's here as a customization. If you go into your Lightroom preferences, and you go into, well, which by the way, we're going to talk about external editing. But if you go into your Lightroom preferences and you go over to, I believe it's under interface. It's where it should be. Yeah, here it is. A brand new setting. Swap only develop and left and right module groups. I don't know why, but you can have in the develop module where it shows all your collections of stuff on one side and all the editing features on the right side, you can switch them. So you could have the editing features on the left side and all your collection stuff on the right side. You have to restart Lightroom for the change to take effect. But if you check this box and then click OK and restart Lightroom, it will switch them over. A lot of left-handed folks love this. Okay. I'm right-handed, agreed. Maybe you're left-handed and it's easier to have all your editing stuff on the left side. But the team did it for a reason, so it must have been a request to give you that option to be able to swap the panels. So I'm not going to do this because of the time it'll take just to reboot Lightroom and have it come back up and all that. But if you want to play with it, just go ahead and swap it over. And it's only in the develop module. So if we leave that the way it is, head over to the develop module. So this stuff will be on this side. This stuff will be on the right side. That's all it does. So again, under your preferences, swap the develop left and right. Swap the left and right. Oh, so there's two choices, I should say. So this one's only for the develop module. This is for all modules. So if you do swap left and right, this is all panels and all modules will be reversed. So even in the library module, the collections will be on the right-hand side and the metadata will be on the left-hand side. So all modules can be switched or just the ones in the develop module. All right. And of course, there's lots of other customizations here. There's one more thing before I get out of this. External editing. This is another change I usually make. By default, this is on TIFF. There's nothing wrong with TIFF. TIFF is an old, like OG original format, been around for decades. But I tend to want my edits when I edit in Photoshop and do whatever and make layers and have it come back. I tend to want it in the PSD format instead of the TIFF format. Why? They both are compatible. The team gives you a choice. They even default to TIFF. I just prefer the PSD format because I know I can't go wrong with that. I guess that's my reason. Like anything I do in Photoshop will be supported in PSD. And technically it should be supported in TIFF too, but I know it will be supported in PSD. So I always change that to PSD. So when I do an edit and come back in Lightroom Classic, they come over as PSD. Then you're probably going to say, well, Terry, I noticed in your Blue Angels or Air Show photos, there were some TIFFs. Why did you have TIFFs? Because in Lightroom, not Lightroom Classic, you don't get a choice. They come back as TIFFs. So I did those edits from Lightroom. They came back as TIFFs. I didn't have a choice. Okay, so that's why. All right, next up. We're in the develop module already. Let's click on a photo. This is getting stranger and stranger. I may have to reboot Lightroom. Yeah, it's telling me I don't have a photo selected when clearly I do. All right, well, we're going to see that switch because I'm going to reboot Lightroom. Something weird's going on. All right, let's go back over to interface. Let's swap the modules just for the fun of it, or we'll just do the develop ones. All right, let's quit. Skip this time. All right, and I'll talk while that's doing its thing. So one of the other develop module things that you can do is you can change how your edit panels are displayed. Meaning, by default, if you open Basic and you open, here, I'm just going to reboot this. If you open Basic and you open tone, or you open camera calibration or lens or whatever, they would all stay open. And if, wow, that was super quick. If you want them to only have one open at a time, then you can have a choice to have them a solo mode, which will have them only open at one at a time. So yeah, something was weird. I just relaunched Lightroom, and now you get to see the panels on the opposite side, by the way. And that fixed whatever that weird thing was that was going on. Okay, so what I was referring to is it's just so weird seeing the edit stuff over here, but let me go change that preference back so that next time I launch Lightroom, it'll switch it back for me. All right, there we go. All right, so anyway, if I right click on this, you'll see a mode called solo mode. And solo mode means that if I have Basic open, but then I want to go look at color grading opens, but Basic closes. So I love that, because that way I'm not having to scroll down all the way to look at stuff just because a bunch of modules are open that I'm not even using. So this keeps me focused on the module I'm using at any given time. Jason Levine's in the house. Speaking of Adobe Evangelists that do masterclasses, Jason's going to be up in a couple of segments after this doing audio and video. So definitely, if you're in audio and video, check out Jason Levine. All right, anyway, so this way I'm not worried about scrolling a long list of panels I'm not using. If I want to go into tone curve, color grading closes, tone curve stays open, and this just keeps the panels short. I don't have to constantly go down and scroll a long list of options that I'm not using. And I can't think of a time where I need them both open to look at the information, because I'm usually in one or the other. I'm in one panel doing something, then I go to the other panel and do something, so forth and so on. Yeah, I know, James, it is weird. I don't like it either. I would never use it this way, but for the sake of, and you know what, I did change the preference. Let me switch it back for the sake of people that are coming to this recording. They're going to be like, what the hell's going on with his Lightroom? Why is his Lightroom backwards? So I'm just going to do another quick reboot since it ran so fast last time. And there we go. And let me relaunch it. And it's relaunching now. And we can go back. All right. Now it's back to normal, folks. There's the develop module stuff over here where it belongs. Okay, anyway, so solo mode is definitely one of the things I do. Now, if we right click on, let's say, the title bar or one of the modules, another thing you can do, and this is something I absolutely love, this is, I think, came out after solo mode, is customize the develop panels themselves. So in other words, the order of them, or turn the ones off you never use, which I can't imagine there's one you never use. But anyway, if there's ones you never use, or you have a order to your workflow and you want to put the modules in that order, so you're not having to skip over modules to get to the ones you use, you can rearrange them in the order you want. So for example, for me, it's definitely Basic. I would probably put lens correction up under Basic. I would put detail up under lens correction. I would put effects under that. And then I would put transform under that. And the rest of the order I don't care about. Because it's not even if I do it in this order, these are the panels I use the most. So having the panels that I use the most at the top versus having to scroll down, even with solo mode, makes it better. So that's just another trick you can use to speed up your Lightroom workflow, just by putting them in the order you want. And again, once I save this, I'd have to reboot Lightroom in order for that change to take effect. Now, if you never use HSL color in black and white, you turn that off and that panel will be hidden, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't advise it, because the minute you turn it off, that'll be the one time you need to go into it. And by the way, in solo mode, it's closed all the time anyway. So it's literally just the name. You're not having to see the whole panel all the time in solo mode. So I have no reason to turn any of these off, because there's none that I absolutely never use. There's some that I don't use that much, but there's some I'm always using some of them sometimes. All right, so anyway, save that. Yep, I'm going to relaunch it later, but that will put the panels in the order you just set them in. All right, next up, let's go in and take a look at, I want to do some more preset stuff. So over here on the left-hand side, you've got develop presets. We talked about some library module presets. You've got presets in just about all the other modules, including print presets. What are these presets and what are they for? Presets are a way to quickly adjust images to be with the same kinds of adjustments you've used before. So for example, if I were to go into one of these photos, let's go back to grid. By the way, I just want to see if this works. That still does. Yep, it works now. All right, so my rotation's working now. So it just need to be rebooted. By the way, if we put the spray cam back on there now, you should be able to see the painter. If we do the painter and we change it to rotation, we want to do, why am I not seeing it? Because I'm looking at the wrong thing. That's why. There we go. Rotation. And we do counterclockwise. This is what I meant. So if I were to spray the photos, you see them quickly turn. So you can spray on keywords, spray on whatever, and that's the way the spray can works. Okay, anyway, what I was coming back here for is I wanted to filter on a specific thing. So let's go ahead and turn on our metadata, and I want to filter on the ones that were edited. There we go. So now let's head over to, let's find one that I like an edit of. Let's say this one. And let's go back to the develop module. And there, now we can see the edits that were done to this. We can see the sliders and everything that was done. So the only thing I might want to do on this is I might want to brighten it up just a little bit more. Maybe something like that, just not even a stop, maybe a third of a stop. And now that I got this set, I like this setting, and I want to be able to do this to other photos. Not all the photos, just some photos. So this way I can create a preset. I can call the preset whatever I want. Let's just call it Jets. And well, not the team. we'll call it Blue Angels. I don't want anyone to get confused. That was mean. Anyway, Blue Angels. And now I can tell it what I want it to do based on that preset. So right now, most of the things are turned off. So I can say, yeah, do everything I did in the basic panel. I don't have to do anything else. Just do everything I did in the basic panel, and that becomes my preset. So I go ahead and click Create. And now if I go to a different photo like this one, and then I go to my user preset, which it should be there, called Blue Angels. There it is. See, even as I hover over it, I see what, I can click on it or see what was done using that preset. So that way I can select 50 photos, not all necessarily in the same order, but just the 50 photos I want to apply that preset to and apply. Presets or other adjustments. So David's asking, does the spray can or the painter work on different, on presets or other adjustments? It works on whatever you see in that list. So I don't remember everything I showed you in the list, but if we go back for 2 seconds, click the painter, it does these things. That's it. So it's not a develop thing. Oh, well, settings. Let's see what settings gives me. There you go. So yeah, I can apply the settings using the painter as well. So yes, it does work with that, presets, but not anything else that you don't see in the list. So this is it. So now, because I did that preset, I could go in and just say that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. So it's kind of, and of course it's doing different things to each photo. But this way, and I can, of course, drag it across multiple photos. So I can say, do it to these 3, and it's applied that preset to those 3. So pretty cool using the painter to quickly adjust things as well. All right, anyway, back to the develop module. And I'm going to reset all those anyway. Last but not least, speaking of doing multiple things at the same time to multiple photos. So like if I select 2 or more photos, down here in the bottom right, I always explain this because I just always want people to know this is here. By default, this is on sync. I just turn it off just to show you, but I always leave it on auto sync. Because when it's on auto sync and you have 2 or more photos selected, so it could be 2, it could be 200, it could be 2,000, it could be 20,000 photos selected. When you apply an adjustment, it applies that adjustment to all of them. So if I were to go in and say that, hey, I want a new preset that's going to do a cinematic style. It's not really giving me much of anything. Hang on. Cinematic style is the category I need to go into and actually choose one. There we go. So let's say, God, these are awful for these shots. But anyway, let's say I like that. For whatever reason, I don't, but let's say I did. I can apply that and it'll apply it to all 5 of those photos quickly and easily. So whether it's 5 photos, 20 photos, 500, 5,000, whatever. All right, so auto sync is the way to do it when you're just going to select multiple photos and do the edit on the spot live. The painter's cool for doing it in the grid. When you already have presets made, you can just quickly do those. So thanks, David. I hadn't really thought of doing it for that, but that's actually a cool way to use it. Just thinking more customizations while we're here. We did presets. So one more kind of preset, and this is probably the big one I just want to make sure we get before we run out of time. And that is, I couldn't imagine using Lightroom Classic without export presets. I use export presets pretty much every time I use Lightroom Classic. Even if I'm not using it for print, I'm definitely using it for social media. So for example, let's say I want to go back to my favorite shot of the pilot and the tech there. Let's make sure it's not rotated. There we go. And I want to go into this. No, that's not even the right one. Where's the right one? It's not that one. I don't know what I did with it. All right, anyway, we'll just pick a shot. It doesn't have to be that one. Let's use this one. So got the pilot getting in the plane here, and I want to export that out and share it on social. So I don't want to have to go through those settings every single time. I just go to File, Export, and notice that I have Export with Preset, and all my presets are here. So if I want to export that for Instagram, I would just choose for Instagram. And that will make it the right size, make it the right settings, do everything I want to do, and put it in the folder that I designated to put it in. And once it's done exporting that file, show me the shot. And here it is. So my for Instagram folder, there's the shot, ready to go, the right size and everything. If I need that with a watermark. So for example, let's go File, Export, Preset for Web Gallery with, because without is without the watermark. This is with. Watermark failed. So let's go see what, oh, you know why? I know why the watermark might have failed. Edit watermarks. Let's see. So here's another customization. Watermarks. And it's missing the watermark. That's why it failed. Let's go find the watermark very quickly here. Let's line. There we go. Choose it. Save it. Or no, not save it. Let's update it. Update with these settings. Cool. Done. And now let's try that one more time. Export with preset. And web gallery. For web gallery. There we go. All right, exporting that file out, and this one's going to have the watermark. Should have the watermark in the lower left corner. Maybe not. Oh, I don't know what I did there. But anyway, let's go make a new one. So we got, what, a minute left? Let's go make a new one. Since that preset is busted, let's go to export one more time. And this time we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to say for web gallery. which is the one it should be, and there's some stuff missing here. There we go, for web gallery. That should work. Let's try it one more time. I don't know why I'm not getting that watermark. All right, let's do it one more. Let's do a new watermark. So another customization is watermarks. I don't use them much anymore, as we can tell, but let's go in and let's make a new one. Create new watermark. And let's call this one TWP 70 new. Done. Export for web gallery, and we'll use the new one instead. There it is. Let's try this one more time. Overwrite. And it just refuses to show me that watermark. But anyway, that's the way that normally works as well. I got some preferences I need to reset. But anyway, hopefully you got something out of this. That's the way watermarks have worked for decades. I'm not sure why it's not working that way for me today, but everything looks correct. I just need to see what's going on with that particular watermark. It was in a weird state as well. Anyway, cheers everyone. Happy Veterans Day. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned for the Daily Creative Challenge, and we'll see you all soon. For me, it's going to be a couple weeks, so I probably won't be back till December 2nd. But have a great time. In the meantime, catch my replay next week, and happy holidays, and we'll see you back in December.